Hello, YouTube, back once again, and today I saw the new action movie, the reboot of the franchise, Mad Max Fury Road, and let me say this right now, this film is batshit insane. I mean that in the best way. The world is insane. The stunts are just unbelievable. Just the action is just explosions everywhere. It's just so... There's a moment where they drive into a sand I can't even have myself. Let's talk about this movie. Okay, now, this film, it's the reboot of the Mad Max films. I must, full disclosure, I've not seen any of them, so just know that it's not clouding my judgment at all when it comes to this movie. I'm just purely going off this film's value. And, the premise of this movie, it's like a post-apocalyptic, whatever, someplace desert area. And, what happens is there's a civilization whose leader has a very much of a god complex going for him, where he has basically found a way to harvest water from the earth, but he basically only gives it to to the people like in small doses, and basically if you're considered worthy enough, you gotta rise this platform into like the mountain that he is in that has like all the greenery, all the nice. It's really nice and wonderful there. And what happens is Charlize Theron, one of his soldiers, she ends up trying to make a break from his group with all of the villains' wives, and then Mad Max, played by Tom Hardy, he ends up joining their group as they try to escape and find a place that they can survive. And let's talk about this movie. I have a lot to say with this one. Okay. Let me go through a few things. Through a few minor things first. One, the visuals. I love the visuals to this movie. I mean, for like a post-apocalyptic film that mainly took place in the desert, there was some really interesting visual work. Just from everything from like the characters' design, I love the color contrast in this film. Like, I love how like just some of the characters, like the fact that they're clean, like it just makes such a great contrast to the rest of the world. How they're just all clean and look so nice. It lets such great color contrast. Some of the characters' designs, like the main villain's design. Like I love like basically like has a breathing issue, so like he has like a mouth nozzle to help him breathe, and he just has it. He has it around his neck, and then the face thing. It's like basically like a giant like angry teeth thing, so he looks even more threatening that way. That was great. I love like how like all like his soldiers basically cover themselves in white paint and like try to prove themselves, like they just spray like silver paint all over their mouths. So visuals, wonderfully visual. The world was really creative. I never seen this film before, so this was my first intro. This was a really creative one. I really loved it. I just love basically how the civilization worked. How like the thing is like you can really only get around the wasteland if you have a car or some sort of vehicle, and like basically like all the cars in this group like don't have wheels, and like so you all like everyone like prays to get a wheel. Essentially, like a wheel means everything to them, so they can attach a car and start driving it. That was wonderful. I also love the fact, like I said, like basically how like you're deemed worthy, you gotta like rise the platform, like in the civilization. Like I love the fact that the characters essentially in the civilization basically view that as heaven. I thought that was a really interesting idea. Like they find just raising up on this platform is essentially going to heaven for a certain degree. But the biggest thing is the cars in this film. The cars were so interesting. Some of them are creative ones. Like they spewed fire to go faster. Like there's this whole thing how like there's like how these keep trying to spit oil into the canister into the engine like anytime they need to go faster, which was really great. That I love like how they try to armor their cars. Like I love how like there's cars that just have spikes all over them. There's like I love some of the there's like Charlize Theron's car like truck. I love the fact that like trying to make a smoke screen. She basically has like a metal plate that can like go into the dirt, the sand that will just basically just make a giant sand cloud around them. That was great. That was amazing, and that my personal favorite being the fact that like one of the cars in the villains group, it's basically a music car where like there's these drummers in the back and just banging the drums the entire time, and then there's this guy on the plane just blasting a guitar that shoots fire. just shoots fire out of it, and like he just keeps playing like it was the entire movie. I don't think he ever stops in this movie. It is just that kind of movie. That is great. Okay, now let's talk about some of the acting. Charlize Theron, freaking awesome in this movie. She kicked so much ass, this woman, this film. Like, I know some people don't like Charlize Theron, just thinking that she just got a career because she looks attractive and nothing else. No, she is amazing. She kicks so much ass. She kills so many people. She just snipes people like it's no tomorrow. Another thing, there's never a thing like there's like an issue for the fact she's a woman. You never think like, oh, she's a woman. What that was like they underestimate her for the fact she's a woman. No, they know that she is a badass force to be reckoned with from beginning to end in this film, and she just kicked ass. Even just wonderful from beginning to end. That and I loved her arm. I love the fact that like it was a really great effect. Like she doesn't have an arm. Like it was either I think it was her right arm. Her right arm like it only goes up to here, and she basically has like a fully mechanical arm for the rest of her body. That was a great special effect. I love that, and so that was great. Stephen Holt. Otherwise known as the Beast from the X-Men First Class, Days of Future Past. He was tons of fun in this movie. First, he was really funny. He had a lot of really good lines and just insane he was. Like, there's just a great scene like this in the trailer. Like, they're just driving into, like, the desert tornado, and you just see him in the car just going, just a huge scream. It's like, lovely day, what a lovely, lovely day. That cracked me up. He had some really great physical bits. There's, just with, like, because it's a whole part when he's, like, basically chained to Tom Hardy that made me laugh really hard. That and he was just really enjoyably insane. Just like basically because he was brought up on this civilization's ideals. So he has some odd ways of thinking that even some characters don't. So the character's like, oh god, really? Like so Stephen Holt. Tons of fun from beginning to end. Now, I want to. This is another thing. Another thing I love about this movie. This movie is a hard R. This is definitely just earns its R rating. Because the thing with a lot of action films nowadays, like a lot of them just try to edit down to be PG-13, trying to get more audience members in the theater. This movie said, no, we're being R. We're not holding anything back, and that is great. There are people just being killed left and right in this movie. They're being run over, they're being just shot left and right. Just eyes are being like blown out of their heads. It is just it freaking insane. Sorry, looking at notes. All the action, you never feel like they're like toning anything down ever. It never feels like it's holding back. It always feels this is the director's dream. George Miller, this is his vision, just this all out insanity of action. So, and let's talk about the last great thing about this movie, the freaking action. The action in this movie is, oh my god, amazing. This I cannot remember a movie from the past 5 years, maybe 10 years that had action as good as this. Oh my god, just everything. The stunts in this movie are so creative, like so many great ones. Like there's this whole thing how like at one point like they're trying to Tom Hardy's trying to get back onto like Charlize Theron's truck. He's basically on this swinging pole that swings back and left and right. He's just trying to like stay on as that's going on. There's a scene like when like Tom Hardy's also like basically chained to the front of a car, and that Stephen Holt's driving, and he's basically just like still like chained to Stephen Holt, basically just trying to get back in. There's another great one like when him and Stephen Holt are basically chained together and they're fighting Charlize Theron and her group, and like basically like anytime like it looks like Tom Hardy's about to win, like basically just another one a member of like Charlize Theron's group like just like grabs Stephen Holt, so Tom Hardy just flies away. A+ action from beginning to end. Such great stunt work. It was so intense. Some of the action in this film, it is just so like, oh my god, please tell me they're getting out of this. And there's just so much people fighting, not CGI fighting. Like that's in a lot of action movies. It's just mainly CGI on CGI. Like I said in the Avengers, like one of my favorite action sequence was the Avengers 2 was Iron Man versus the Hulk, but that was just two CGI things. That was an action scene created in the computer. So much of the action, just people fighting people in this movie, just blowing each other up, just punching each other in the face. It just feels so freaking awesome. I love that, and I also love another thing I love about this, the action also in the part of this world is like it's all about the cars, and like their cars keep getting damaged, and you basically just see like these intense action sequences how people just basically have to like keep just like maneuvering themselves around the car like left and right. It just makes this world just seem so real. Like this is basically how they would have to be trained, like basically how to always be able to repair a car on the go. So it's always great. Like there's like a great scene like when like they're being like chased by motorbikers and Tom Hardy has to drive. You just see Charlize Theron like under the truck just desperately trying to repair it. That was just amazing. That there was essentially no shaky cam in this film. My God, to say that there is an action film nowadays that does not use shaky cam, that's amazing. Because like I said, this is a movie that goes for the hard R. It's not like it ever tries to like cut away from anything. No, this movie, almost no shaky cam that I can notice. That and the finale in particular, that finale, it was intense. You cared about the things. You cared for the characters. It went on and on. The beginning is like 20-minute action sequence, and so is the finale. And the finale though, just all the creative kills, all the creative fight scenes, all the stunt work. It ends with one of the most creative kills I have ever seen in a movie. It blew my mind. It just made me go like, hell yeah, Mad Max Fury Road, you are freaking awesome. So good for you, Mad Max. This movie, if you're an action lover, you'll love this. But I do have to talk about, there's one thing I did not like about this film for the bad. One is ironically enough, it is the title character of Mad Max. It's not Tom Hardy's fault. Tom Hardy Tom Hardy is a badass in this film, but he's just not very memorable. Like, he's just kind of bland and forgettable, like, badass in this film. Because, like, the thing is, he gets more lines in the opening scene than I think he does the entire rest of the movie. Like, he has, like, this really long monologue about madness and how, like, basically the ideas of the film, like, madness and how, like, people will be driven mad, and, like, you can never know, like, who's more mad. He doesn't know, like, who's more mad. Like, is it just people who just seem more mad if they're on the opposite side of you? So that was yeah, I think he has more lines in that opening than he does any other part of this scene, and he keeps saying flashbacks in this movie about like people he failed. And I just don't know, like, is that reference to like past Mad Max movies? Because I haven't, like I said, I didn't see any, but like maybe they're just setting it up for a sequel. I don't know. It just kind of kept going out. And just kept going, like, just kept coming and going. You're just like, well, what's that about exactly? And I have to say, this is not affecting my score in the slides, but I gotta say, this movie may have ruined all other action movies for me this year, because there is no way that the action in any other summer movie I'm seeing the year, none of the superhero movies, not Terminator Genesis, nothing. There's no way that the action in this film will match any other film will match the action in this film. Not just a quality film, just the action. This movie may have just ruined it all for me. I'll probably just like, even like, I don't know, like Ant-Man, like, I don't know, like Terminator Genesis or Fantastic Four just have great action sequences. I'm like, I don't know, this doesn't really hit the Mad Max quality of standard. So that maybe just know this may ruin other action films for you this summer. But anyway, those are my only things. So anyway, for a final rating, I am giving Mad Max Fury Road a solid 4.5 out of 5. Enthusiastic 4.5 out of 5. If Mad Max was slightly more interesting, I would have given this a 5 out of 5. This would have been a perfect action film in my head. But as it stands, 4.5 out of 5. Wonderful action film. I love this movie. This will probably become a new classic, this movie. This is great. I have not seen another Mad Max movie, and I may go watch them now, because this movie is just freaking awesome. If you love action, if you just love like post-apocalyptic films, if you just want to have a great, huge, insane time in the theater, go see Mad Max Fury Road. As always, YouTube, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.